Before we get in today's afternoon Cowboys report, we are still trying to go our Instagram page. Go follow us over there if you haven't already, if you have an Instagram, over at Cowboys Report IG. I'll link that in the comments and the description of today's show, by the way. Let's get into, once again, the latest on a potential Dak Prescott contract. I have my doubts this gets done, and I really have my doubts it gets done if it doesn't happen before kickoff of Week 1. Dianna Russini of The Athletic has the latest, which would go against previous history for the Cowboys, that the issue is over just how long Dallas wants to tie itself to Dak Prescott. Here's what Dianna said. The holdup at this point, from what I understand, is about the years the Dallas Cowboys are willing to commit to. While it's assumed Dak is going to be with the highest paid at the top of the market, the Dallas Cowboys are aware of that. It's, do they want to put themselves in a position contractually that will keep Dak in Dallas longer than 2, 3, 4 years? That's what Dak is looking for. He's looking for a long-term commitment from Dallas. So the holdup here is really the belief from the Dallas Cowboys. It's a guy that's won a lot of games, but is that enough? Winning's not enough for Jerry Jones. We know this. They want to do more. They don't want to just be the team that wins a lot of games. They want to be a team that can play in the Super Bowl. So first off, yes, they are okay with that. That has been proven time and time again. They continuously operate as a team that is just fine winning 10 games, winning 11 games, 12 games, not taking responsibility for the front office mistakes and saying, it's the players, it's not us, whatever. They're fine winning games. They're fine being a playoff caliber team. They have not done the aggressive things to be more than that in a very long time. It helps keep them as the number one NFL story. Here we are talking about the quarterback's contract, and we talked about for anybody else's contract days before the NFL season. And to be quite honest, look, some of that reads like PR from the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, winning's not enough for us, right? I think we know where that came from. That came out of the Cowboys organization. I digress. That's me getting off the rails a little bit. The Dak stuff. This is not how Dallas does business. This has been widely interpreted as, wow, the Cowboys don't want to do a 4, 5, 6-year deal. They want to do a shorter deal. Dallas historically loves doing longer contracts. Remember, they asked Lamb, how about a 5 or 6-year deal? And he ended up settling for 4, as most players end up doing. And initially, they wanted a longer Dak deal the first time. Remember the first time this happened? They were in agreement on the money, the average per year. They were not in agreement on the years. And when you're not in agreement on the years, you're not in agreement on the money. So this would be a pretty startling change from the Cowboys' history. I think I have the actual answer in terms of what the actual length issue is, which we'll get into here. But first, the pinned comment. Are you buying this latest report that Dallas wants to go shorter, Dak wants to go longer, and it's a flip from previous years? Why for yes and for no? Go vote for me in the pinned comment of today's show. I don't think this specifically passes the smell test if we're interpreting, the amount of years left or the amount of years total is the hang-up. But if we change the point of view and focus less on the specific, it's the years, and more on what commitment means, does make sense. This makes a lot more sense if you change commit and years to not mean the overall length of the deal, but what actual commitment is. Guaranteed money. A longer deal and not as much guaranteed takes the power away from the player, puts it back in the team control, which I'm sure is something Dallas would love to do. Commitment does not come in NFL contracts from the length of a deal. It's from the guaranteed money. You can do a 10-year contract for Dak Prescott. If only the first 2 years are guaranteed, that's not commitment. Guaranteed money is what commitment is. And that is what I think is worth monitoring as we potentially get closer to an extension. Dak is actually no longer among the highest paid quarterbacks in terms of guaranteed money. It's still Deshaun Watson with a fully guaranteed contract. I don't know if we'll ever end up seeing that again. If we do, maybe it's someone with leverage and power like Dak Prescott. Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Lamar, some longer deals there often, again, mean more guaranteed money. Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff. My theory is this, folks, that the Cowboys, they're fine doing a longer year deal. Do they want to guarantee the third and fourth year of that contract? Because that is the market for Dak Prescott at this point. Maybe not. Now, today's show is made possible by Z-Biotics. I am getting older. I cannot hang the same way I used to, especially during watch parties, but Z-Biotics pre-alcohol makes a big difference for me. The pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut, and it's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. The pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to help break this byproduct down. Just remember to drink this probiotic before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. We've heard a lot about the pre-alcohol here at Chat Sports. I wonder just how good it actually was, and now that we've tried it, I believe the hype. With this technology, they will also release different products that have nothing to do with alcohol. So stay in the loop and go to zbiotics.com/chatsports. You can also scan the QR code that's on the screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use code ChatSports at checkout. Also sign up for subscription using that code so you can stay prepared no matter the time or the occasion. Z-Biotics is back with a 100% money-back guarantee so you can stay prepared no matter the time or occasion. And if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So again, head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use code chatsports at checkout for 15% off. A big thank you to Z-Biotics for sponsoring this episode and our good times. Moving to free agency as a possible option here. How about signing Xavien Howard? Something tells me it's not the last time we'll have this conversation. Bleacher Report doing one player each team should sign right now. They listed Xavien Howard as the top target before week 1. Here's the pitch. With DaRon Bland beginning the campaign on injured reserve, thus missing at least the first 4 weeks, the Cowboys will be without one of their ball hawks in the secondary. Howard's legal issues could be a hurdle for any team looking to pick him up. However, on the field, the 8-year veteran's 39 career interceptions and 95 passes defended could be the best possible replacement for Bland at this stage. Look, I think of the purely on-the-field best available free agents, I think Xavien Howard is one of those dudes. I think we've seen that over the course of his NFL career. Now, remember, it's September. You got to figure out, though, why is this guy unsigned? And in most cases, multiple reasons, or one really, really bad one that raises red flags for you. Howard play has declined. It's not the same it was at his absolute best. The pass breakups have dipped. The interceptions have dipped. The games played have dipped. Is he still a top 100 corner in the NFL? Probably. That bar's not that high, frankly. So maybe it was the foot injuries coming off of. Maybe it is the outfield stuff, which we'll go more in depth to here in a minute. But all those things are potential red flags, and maybe it's also Howard wants a guaranteed starting spot, which he wouldn't get long-term in Dallas. Before we move more in depth here on Xavien Howard, we are having our weekly sub-battle against the Browns report. The early results, so far so good. 209 to 67. Let's continue to crush them. I want to make sure we beat the Browns on the field and off the field. Hit that sub button for more free Cowboys videos if you haven't already done so. That's youtube.com/CowboysTV. Now, The Athletic wrote the following, which I think sums it up pretty well. A court filing alleges Howard sent a sexually explicit photo of a woman to an underage son, quote-unquote, for the purpose of manipulation and or revenge. The motion seeks to add the boy to a women's lawsuit who alleged, in a separate incident, that Howard recorded and distributed sexual videos involving the two of them to a third party without her consent. Now, that also had been part of the, he filmed me without me knowing, and all of that's really messed up. Don't be weird, people. Come on, be normal human beings for once in your life, please. Maybe that is a factor in why his market has been very quiet. And if that's I don't want to deal with that, I don't blame you at all. He was, injury-wise, cleared from a foot injury back in April, but all of those different things, decline in play, real off-the-field red flags that you maybe just don't want to deal with at all because that's pretty messed up accusations. It is still accusations at this time, which you'd think would be pretty easy to prove one way or the other, and the foot injury. So would you sign Xavien Howard? Be honest with me. S for sign, P for pass in the comment section of today's show. Cornerback room is fine if Kalen Carson can hold down the fort and if DaRon Bland gets back healthy soon. I'm pretty optimistic about what Kalen Carson can do. We're going to know quickly. That's a pretty decent Browns receiving core. Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper especially. If the Browns smart, they'll probably try to get Carson on Cooper. I think corner is going to be a spot to see how Carson plays in week 1 and potentially go from there. Now, Bland's going to be back soon. I would put the over-under at like week 5.5, I guess, to avoid ties there. So before the bye. That's a short-term injury. Hopefully he comes back and looks like his old form as well. Short-term injuries don't often get filled by outside players because then those outside players have lost their job pretty quickly. So we will monitor, but I think they want to see how Carson plays at least for week 1.